guys, welcome back to my channel and another video here. Today I have a Q&A. I posted like a month ago. I posted to my stories and on my community tab here on YouTube, just asking people if they had any questions for me, because for my like 4,000 subscriber video, I was just gonna do a little Q&A. Those are always fun. And then I promptly forgot to film it. So we're here now and we're doing that. But before I get into the Q&A, I just wanted to mention, if you guys didn't see my last video, I did announce my first ever like full collab with Moxie Nail Varnish. It is a 3 shimmer trio. 3 is a trio, Hillary. It's a shimmer trio. And we have re-released the original like one-off shade I did with Moxie called Mediocrity. We have a green shimmer called Feet Aren't Free, and a brown shimmer called Swamp Queen, and I feel like these very much fit my personality and my channel, and I'm really excited about it. So if you want to check these out, I will have a link down below, and if you guys want to check out my video, I will pop it up in the corner for you if you missed that. But that's all I wanted to say really quickly before we get into the actual Q&A. So I told you guys you could ask me anything. It didn't have to be nail polish related. It could be real life related too. Not that nail polish isn't real life, but you know. And so I have a good mix of both. I will try to answer as many questions as I can, but because I tend to yammer on, these can get a little out of hand on my end, so some stuff might have to get cut. But hopefully I can get to everybody's questions. So I'm going to go through the Instagram ones first, and I have those here on my phone. So the first question I got was, are you having your dream wedding or are you compromising a lot? To be quite honest, I actually never had a dream wedding. I didn't ever think that I would get married when I was younger. I just, like, people didn't really like me. So I was just like, that's not for me. And then when I got into college, my first, like, serious relationship ended up joining the military, and I thought I would probably just end up having like a military wedding, and then that guy cheated on me like 1,000 times, and so I was like, all right, never mind. And you know, all throughout Rob and I's relationship, we talked about getting married, so it's like I knew we were going to get married, but we never actually talked about what the wedding would entail. So I never really had like a dream vision, but thanks to the generosity of my parents and Rob's parents, we're having like beyond what I could have ever dreamed of. I got a beautiful dress from a really nice boutique. We're getting married at one of like the really, probably one of the nicest venues on this side of the state. You know, everything is just kind of like falling into place in a way that I didn't expect to. So I am really, really excited for the wedding that we're going to have. The next question is cake or pie, and pie if my grandma made it, because my grandma makes really good pies, but in general, I will literally eat anything. Look at me, I will eat anything. I love food, so I like cheesecake, which to me is like in between a cake and a pie, so I feel like that's a cop-out answer, but honestly, I like cheesecake the best. Can you please talk about how you stopped buying everything from Holo Taco? I want to stop too. Advice? So one day I was like, I gotta stop buying everything from Holo Taco because I don't even enjoy half of it anymore. And so I told myself, no matter what the next release is, no matter if I like it or not, no matter if it's limited edition or whatever, I will not buy any of it. And I stuck to that. I was like, you are not allowed to buy a single polish from this upcoming release. And that seemed to break the cycle for me, because after that I was just like at first I was like, oh, I should have bought it. I don't even remember what it was. Maybe it was like the crushed coffee ones or something. But after that, it kind of like broke me out of that cycle. And I have bought a few here and there. I bought a couple one-offs here and there, but I have not bought a whole collection since then. And I feel happier for it. It's not that I don't like the brand. I do. It's just, I got stuck mentally in this, like, I have to be reviewing Holo Taco or else my channel will fall into disrepair and nobody will watch me. And I was like, that's silly. Like, the cost of a collection from Holo Taco and the amount of money I make on one video, like the disparity is huge. So it wasn't like, it's not like a big YouTuber who could buy the collection for like 70, 80, 90 bucks, whatever, and make like tenfold back on that, you know, investment essentially. I don't make the money back for one video. So I was like, this isn't fiscally responsible, you know? What kind of music is your favorite? If you asked Rob, he would say music that makes you cry. I like just anything though. I listen to country. I like folk music. I like a lot of like more indie stylings. The only things I don't really listen to, I don't really listen to a lot of metal outside of like very specific bands. I think like the closest thing to metal that I like regularly listen to is System of a Down, because in middle school I was obsessed with them. Loving Chapel Roan right now. But for me, music is not like a huge integral part of my life. I guess ever since I was young, like I've been going deaf. So for me, the reality was always going to be like, music is just not the same for me. So I'm not somebody who constantly needs music going all the time. Like some people, like music is their whole life. But for me, I turn it on when I'm driving to work, and half the time I can't even hear it. So I don't know. What's the hardest part of being a YouTuber? At first, I thought it would be coming up with content, but once I kind of got on a roll, the content kind of comes to you. It's not that hard for me to come up with content, whether it be like, oh, I have all these reviews, or, you know, Topic Tuesday was a huge wealth of content for me when I first got started. And now that I have like a base of like content types, I can just kind of pick and choose what I want. And as new ideas come to me, like that's fine. So that's never really been the issue. For me, it's finding the time, because this isn't like my job. So I have to fit this in elsewhere. And setting everything up for some reason, like sitting down to film is like the hardest part, because I have to set up everything every time, because all my lights and equipment and stuff, I put that away after I'm done filming, because I don't have a dedicated space to film. Like this is just my office. So it's like my computer's over there, and like I have to move all this stuff back into my closet when I'm done. I guess I don't have to, but I don't like clutter, so I have to. So really, it's just finding the motivation to get all the things done that you need to get done, because it's like you have to plan everything out. You have to set everything up. You have to, if you need like polishes or anything, you need to get those out. If you need swatches done, you have to take those. If I have to take like live swatches, I have to do a completely different setup with all like my cameras and lighting. So if I'm filming like a face-to-face video in one day and doing nail polish swatches, you know, there's like a lot of shuffling around. Then I have to put everything on the computer and edit it. And then I have to, you know, make the thumbnail, which like my thumbnails are not labor intensive. They all kind of look the same. But I have to do, you know, all the little details in the description box and all that. And so when you add up all of that time it takes to make like one 10 to 20 minute video, it ends up being quite a lot. And so it can be a little bit daunting when you look at it like that. What future polish collection are you most excited for? I haven't seen a ton of previews. Originally, if you had asked me any other year, I'd be telling you it would be the China Glaze Halloween collection, because I literally live for that collection. But this year, I heard they're not doing one. They're not releasing like anything new for the rest of the year. So I'm kind of like, now what? I am looking forward to just seeing what brands come out with for the fall season, because fall/Halloween type nail polishes are probably my favorite. I don't like spring collections that much because they're always pastel, and I don't love winter collections too much because they're just like overly glittery typically, but fall is like my sweet spot. But I did just think of one. So Danny Vienna, I just saw on Instagram yesterday, is releasing more for her artist series, which if you guys don't know, Danny Vienna takes a painting from certain artists and she basically grinds it up and turns it into a nail polish, and it looks so cool. I have Klimt from her, which is based off of The Kiss, and then I also bought Mondrian, which is based off of that. I always forget the order of the colors, but it's like composition in red, yellow, blue, I think is how you say it. Maybe it's red, blue, yellow, I don't know. But both of those polishes are stunning. They're very evocative of the paintings themselves, and so I'm excited to kind of take a deeper delve into the new, I think it's like 5 or 6 polishes. What videos have been your favorite to film? My all-time favorite video that I ever filmed, and it flopped so hard, and I was like, I've never, if a video does poorly, I've never ever in my life been disappointed. I just go, okay, well, maybe that's not what people want to see. Except for this one, and it was a recent video. I filmed painting my nails while blindfolded, and usually my videos tend to get at least 1,000 views in like the first day or so, and that one did not. And then it like took a while for it to hit 1,000. And when I do like kind of more like special videos, like outside of my norm, like doing my PBE vlogs and special stuff like that, they'll hit like 2,000 or 3,000 views. And I'm like, all right, people really like this kind of varied content. And I, in my heart of hearts, I thought that my painting my nails while blindfolded video would be like one of those, and it wasn't. And I was just like, man, like, I was really disappointed. Like, I didn't let it get me down, but I was just like, that video was a pain to film because I had to stay within the realm of the camera, but I was also blindfolded, so how was I supposed to know, you know? So it was hard. So yeah, I like those kind of like goofier videos. I also like chatty videos and stuff like that because I can yammer on. It's not that I don't like doing reviews, but I feel like I have to stay a little bit more focused and on topic in a review, or else I'm gonna like lose people who are really only there for the review. Whereas if I'm doing like my favorites or like talking about what I wore and stuff like that, I can kind of insert all my little blips and comments and stuff, and people are kind of there to see that too. So I like that stuff. Top 3 brands you'd want to collab with, and what would that polish look like? This isn't like something I've really thought about too much because I just never thought I would get a collab until, you know, I got a collab. But I don't know if I had like 3 brands. I think if I was going to collab with like a mainstream brand, it would be cool to collab with Orly because I just like Orly a lot. And I love when they do collabs and when they have like specialty shades, you know, sometimes they do like fun bottles. So I like how they modify the bottles. I don't know what the colors would look like because it seems like whenever I think about doing a collab, I'm like, let's do a green. Let's do another green. So I need to like get away from that, but I would definitely mainstream it would be Orly. If I could collab with an indie brand right now, probably either Sweet and Sour because flakies, or Cuticula because once again flakies. And Caitlin Swatches just released a collab with them based on SpongeBob, and I watched her video this morning and I was just like, okay, I'm jealous. I want to do that. So I really like those 2 brands right now, or those 3 brands, I guess. Choose one: never wearing Elysian Fields again, or only wearing white polish in public. At first I thought this was going to be hard, but then I remember that I like don't leave my apartment. So I would choose only wearing white polish in public, as long as it could be like white polish with like glitters in it, you know, like a Crelly glitter. Then I would go with the white polish because I don't think I could never not wear Elysian Fields again. But did you guys see? I think it got discontinued. So that was a traumatic day for me. What's your favorite Pokemon? I feel like I'm gonna have cop-out answers, but I really like Eevee and like the concept of Eevee having like all the evolutions, which is such like a, I feel like that's such a like basic answer. I also really love Ditto because he's just a blob. Like, and also he can turn it into whatever he wants. So that's fun too. But also, if we're going for like newer gens, I really only played Gen 1 and 2. So 2nd gen, I really, really loved Chikorita. because I just like that she looked like she had a little necklace on. And my friend Trevor actually for my birthday bought me, because I love pins. I have like a pin board. He bought me a little Chikorita pin. It was really cute. So I put that up on my pin board. How many Prugly/Ugly polishes do you own? I don't have a counter for that. I don't know, maybe like 15 to 20% of my collection is like stuff that people would find like truly ugly. But that number grows every day since that seems to be all I buy anymore. Oh, this is a good question. How often does Rob let/ask you to do his nails? Never. Rob hates the feeling of nail polish. The one time like that he did that video with me, I was like, listen, you can say no and I won't be mad because I know you don't like this, but could I paint your nails on video? And he was a good sport about it, but the second the camera was off, he was like, get this off me. He has like, he doesn't like the sensation of like the feeling. He can almost like feel the weight of the paint on his nails. He's also just not a guy who is into wearing like polish or makeup or anything like that. It's just not his thing. So he's never asked me to paint his nails or anything like that. He likes to help me pick out my polishes for me, but he would never ask me to paint his nails. Now, I do cut his nails because if I don't, he just gnaws them off, and I'm like, absolutely not. We're not doing that in this household. You cannot embarrass me. If my nails are going to look like this, yours can't look like that. That's all I have to say. What do you do for your real job? It's very boring. I work in the automotive industry. So does Rob. It's like this pocket of Michigan. It's just like either you work in automotive or you're like, I don't know, construction. Like there's just not a lot of like varied job types. I work for an automotive supplier, and before that I worked for an automotive supplier, and it's just like a plain office job. I mean, I just make sure that like my customers who are like car companies have the parts that they need to make the cars that they're making, and that's about it. I'm technically, my title is Senior Operations Coordinator. And honestly, I don't think that means anything. I think titles are fake. I think office jobs are fake. None of this is real. Emails don't exist. Like, it just, I don't know. It's not a hard job, yet it's really hard to find people who can do the job. Like, people just don't seem to grasp all the steps. And I don't know if it's just because I'm really organized and like schedule oriented and that's kind of how the job is, but there's a lot of people who come through. In the 4 years that I've worked for this company, I think we've went through like 6 or 7 coordinators because they either couldn't handle like the job culture because it is a Japanese company and like a lot of Americans just aren't used to working in like a Japanese work environment, or they just can't grasp the job itself. So I don't know. I think it's an easy job. If there was any hobby you could try regardless of cost, etc., what would it be? Most of the hobbies that I've been interested in, I just try them. So this one was hard, but I do think I have 2. One would be some kind of like working with wood, like building things. For example, like my uncle, my dad's brother, he's excellent with like construction and like woodworking and stuff like that. And my aunt, she made a whole Pinterest board and was like, this is the kitchen I want. And he built that kitchen. Like I thought it was professionally done. And like, I mean, he's basically professional, but he just does it as a hobby. He makes all his grandkids toys and things like that. He made, like a puzzle table for my cousin. Like he's very talented in that regard. And for me, it's like the investment of like the initial tools you would need, the space you would need. Like I just don't have that in me right now. And the other thing is gardening, having like, not like a flower garden, but like food, vegetables. My grandma used to do it. My uncle has done it as well. And just growing up, we always had a lot of like fresh vegetables, and my grandma would can a lot of vegetables. So we would have like garden green beans throughout the year and stuff like that. I would love to be able to do stuff like that, but I don't have like the space because I live in an apartment. And I know there's like community gardens and stuff, but like just thinking about having to drive over there seems annoying. So I would love to try that out someday if I ever had land, but I don't think my life will ever go in a direction where I own a home and land and things like that. So that's just kind of like a little pipe dream. Do you plan on doing live streams again? I miss them. Yes, I do. This goes back to like the hardest thing about YouTube is like setting up, and like I just can't figure out how to set up all my cameras and stuff in the way that makes me feel comfortable with the live stream. And I do need to delve more into like the software so that I can do a better job. I really enjoy live streaming. It's a lot of fun, and it's honestly, it's easier in some ways because the content is kind of like audience driven. Whereas like here, I'm talking to myself and a camera and the wall, and I have to come up with everything to say. The interaction when it comes to live streaming makes live streaming really easy to just have things constantly going. You can always be talking about something new. The downside to live streaming is it's like you have to block off sections of time, and it's like, to me, what, minimum 2 hours is what I want to block off. But the other thing too is it's like you have to be on like 100% of the time. So if I come home from work and I'm like feeling like garbage, the last thing I want to do is like sit in front of a camera and be like, hey guys, what's up? You know what I mean? So it's tough. There's like a weird balance to it. I feel like I'm getting to the point where I just need to just sit down and do it, because I really, really like live streaming. It's a lot of fun. How did you get into Pruggly polishes? So Cork Manicures was a channel that I used to watch a ton. She has since kind of rebranded. She's now Cork Budgets, and she does a budgeting channel, and I still watch her because, I don't know, I just like her. And I like budgeting channels a lot. Like, I like budgeting. So, but she posted like her favorite polish ever was this China Glaze, I think it was China Glaze. It was like a kind of gross, it was almost like a Kermit the Frog green, I think. And Moonshine Manny did a Project Dupe It for that polish, and it's called Build Me Up Buttercup. And she like held like a giveaway, and I won that polish. And that one kind of really kicked me into high gear with it. But also Zoya released a Christmas collection, and it had the polish Eunice in it. And I was like, I took that as like a personal affront. I was like, that's not a Christmas color. Like, what are they doing? But then I wore it and I was like, okay, wait a minute. And it kind of changed my whole perspective on like the color green and like gross greens and then gross polishes in general. And here we are. What are your favorite colors / brands of polish? All of them, every single one. Maybe not every single one, but I like most colors of polish. The only polish I really don't actively want to wear is just a plain white. If you look at my spreadsheet, it would tell you my favorites are blue, purple, pink. But lately I'm really into wearing greens. I love gray polish. I just like colors. There's not a color that I don't like, you know? And then favorite brands, I feel like mainstreams, I really like Orly. I haven't really been keeping up with mainstreams outside of Orly lately because like China Glaze is not releasing that. Yeah, that I don't know what's going on in the mainstream realm. As far as indies go, that's so hard. I really like Swamp Gloss, Sweet and Sour. I really like Danny Vienna. Danny Vienna is a favorite. I don't buy a ton from any one brand at a time, but like Danny Vienna really sticks out to me. How did you start doing all the nail things that you do? Mental illness. Literally, probably just mental illness. I just get really, really fixated on things and then make them my whole personality, and then I can't stop. And that's why I am the way that I am. So that was all the Instagram questions, but I do have some from YouTube as well, and I pulled those up on the computer. So now I'm going to look over there. Somebody asked how my Purgatory bin was doing. Have I sold or given away anything yet? So I separated out everything I wanted to sell, like for sure, like I wasn't going to let anybody just take. And I did actually sell one. Somebody who lives nearby reached out and was like, hey, I would be, you know, if you're cool with it, I would be willing to buy this one off of you. And I was like, that saves me a trip to the post office. So I actually ended up meeting up with her, selling her the polish, and then we stood and talked for like 15 minutes, and then we became friends. So that was cool. And everything else is still sitting in a drawer waiting to be sold. As far as the ones that I was just going to like let people go through and then I would sell what remains, I let a bunch of my friends go through it. My sister's gone through it. My dad has gone through it so that he took like a whole gallon bag of polishes to paint his fishing lures with. And I was like, take them. And the nice thing about my dad going through it is I knew like he would take polishes that probably other people wouldn't care to take, because to him, like the formula or like the branding or whatever, like he has no loyalties to that. So I was glad to see those go. I think one of my friends, I think she ended up taking like, I think she said 70 when she finally counted them. And I was like, I just want people to take those, like if they want them. So I'm happy that they took those. Now I have the boxes sitting under my desk and I need to price everything out and make a D-stash and all that. But like, I just don't have it in me right now to do that. I don't want to be running back and forth to the post office right now. I feel like this is an excuse, but I'm just like, I've got so much on my plate with planning a wedding. Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things I got to build up in my head and then I'll do it. Have you purchased any nail polish these past few months besides PVE? It's been a while since you did a video on your monthly polish purchases. No, I think outside of PVE, I haven't checked, but I swear I bought like less than 10 polishes this year outside of PVE, which I bought more than 10 polishes. Yeah, at the beginning of this year, after last year, I had a lot of fun. I did kind of like monthly, I was showing you what I was earning off of like YouTube and commission total, and I was allowing myself to only spend that amount on nail polish, and you know, the money would roll over and things like that. And it was really fun to do that and show you guys like, you know, this is what I'm spending and like the reality of the situation and all that. But then at the beginning of this year, I was like, okay, I need to dial it back. My collection's really big and I would like to buy other things as well. And so I've really cut back. If I do buy from Polish Pickup, I buy like 2 to 3 max, and I don't buy from Polish Pickup every single month anymore. And it's not to say that I won't ever go back to buying more polish. It's just that right now I've gotten into other hobbies as well, and those need money too. Like I've gotten into sewing, and so like buying fabric isn't cheap, and like just I've been doing a lot of other crafts and stuff, and so I've been trying to cut back on nail polish and trying to use and appreciate what I have as well. And doing that D-stash really helped me with that as well, because like going through all my polishes and seeing everything that I had kind of made me realize like, hey, you probably don't need to be buying 20 nail polishes a month, Hillary. Somebody asked if I updated my spreadsheet yet, and yes, I did update my spreadsheet. It took me a few days, and then I just have to go through all my swatch sticks now and make swatch sticks for some of the polishes that I just haven't made swatch sticks for. That project is going to take a lot longer, just the nature of it, and I don't really have the time to set aside right now, so I'm gonna wait until winter for that one, because for Christmas and New Year's, my company gives us like 8 or 10 days of like time off, because a lot of car companies shut down around that time. And so I just figured I'll use my Christmas break for that. Non-nail polish question. What motivated you to learn Japanese, then become an English teacher in Japan? So I've always been really interested in language and like interacting with people from other cultures and being like a part of like different cultural practices and stuff like that. I've always thought it was really cool ever since I was a kid, which I come from like a really small town, so we didn't have a lot of that. Like you didn't meet a lot of people who spoke other languages. Everybody was kind of from the same place. So when I was in middle school and high school, I took French, and I liked the idea of learning a language, but I didn't love French that much. I just didn't like the grammar structure and things like that. And I had always been interested in like Japanese culture. You know, when I was younger, of course, I liked anime. Like I was one of those kids. But like that wasn't why I chose Japanese. I ended up, after I like kind of eased off my anime phase, I still had a really intense interest in like Japan and the culture, and just things were done so differently, and I really wanted to pursue that. And so I found a college that offered a Japanese language major, and people kept asking me, what are you going to do with that? And I was like, I don't care. I just want to learn Japanese. I was like, I'll figure it out, you know? And so I went into the Japanese program there, and from there I had to declare a minor, and I had found out about this program in Japan called the JET program. It's like the Japanese exchange teaching program, and you get to go over to Japan and work for basically the Japanese government, and you're teaching in schools over there. And it's not to be like, I'm not saying this because I got in and I'm trying to like boost myself up, but it is truly the best program in Japan for that, because there's other ones that you can work for like English schools, but I've heard horrible things about those. And so like the JET program is great because you're like working for like the government agency, and you know there's like a long history with it. And so I went over there, or I took a TESOL minor, which is teaching English to speakers of other languages, to kind of supplement my like Japanese degree. And it actually ended up helping out a lot, because I was taking classes that taught you about how people learn languages, like how it works in the brain and how best practices are to teach and things like that. And so taking that in conjunction with me taking language courses myself actually helped me learn a little bit better and a little bit faster. So that was cool. And then I ended up applying to the JET program. It's not easy to get in. The application process is several months. And then from there, you have to wait like 2 or 3 months to find out if you even got past the first screening to get to the interview. And so I got the interview. I had to go to the Japanese consulate, and I passed the interview. And then I moved to Japan, and I taught English. I also studied abroad in Japan too, so that was cool. Has becoming a well-known swatcher and receiving PR taken some of the joy/fun in wearing nail polish? I really appreciate that you think I'm well-known. Oh my God. I definitely don't receive as much PR like consistently throughout the year. Like there's certain like pockets of the year I feel like where suddenly I'm like inundated with PR, and then there's like huge dry spells. So I feel like that kind of helps with that kind of feeling. But there are times where I'm just like, I'll get a collection and I'm just like, I don't want to do this right now, you know? But you feel kind of pressured to, because you receive, not from the brand or anything like that. Like I don't feel pressure from them, but like just my own personal, like I need to get this out so that they don't take me off their PR list, or you know, they don't think I don't appreciate them or something. So like there is that element where you're like, I got to push through and I just got to do this. And sometimes it can feel a little bit overwhelming, but I think because I don't receive too much PR, I feel like I'm in like a pretty good sweet spot. People like Janixa, where I see like she gets quite a lot of PR from quite a lot of brands, and she's always putting out videos. I'm like, sometimes I'm like, man, I wish that I got that level of PR, but then I'm like, mentally, I don't know if I could handle that level of PR. Like, she's clearly very well organized. She's got her system down pat. I feel like if I got that many packages, first of all, Rob would be like, what is this now? Because he's the one who takes the trash out, so he hates how many packages I get. But I feel like that would be overwhelming. But I feel like I'm in a good spot with PR right now. And you know, you don't have to receive PR if you don't want to. Like if a brand is sending you PR, you can let them know like, hey, I no longer want to receive this. Like it's not a big deal. I've never done that because I love getting PR. It's like a fun little gift. But you can tell them no thank you or something like that. Or PR, you don't have any obligation to it. You only start getting obligated when you're getting paid, I think. Do friends or family always come to you to do their nails for special events because of all the colors you have, or at least come over to do their own nails? No. And I'm honestly surprised by this. I've told all my friends and family, like, if you ever want to borrow anything from me, you ever want to try a brand that you've never tried before and you don't want to like sink the money in it without knowing, I've probably got it. So like you can borrow whatever you want. Nobody takes me up on the offer. My sister expressed an interest in Mooncat recently. So when she was over, I was like, just take these and try them. I was like, before you buy any of them, just try these, because Mooncat's a little bit pricier of a brand. So I didn't want her to like go buy a bunch and then like hate it. But at the same time, if she loves it, at least she got to try, you know, a few formulas from me so she could make an educated decision. And as far as like painting people's nails, the only person who's ever asked me to paint their nails is my grandma, which I'm happy to do that for her because she loves having her nails done. But there's been times in the past couple years where she couldn't get to her nail lady. And so I made sure that her nails were painted. But for the most part, I'm glad people don't ask me to paint their nails, because I actually don't like painting people's nails. I feel uncomfortable with it, and I can't really explain why in a way that's going to make sense to people. But for me, like, touching somebody else's hand is like really weirdly intimate to me. I don't do it very often. I don't really touch people's hands. It's not something I enjoy doing. And I know like it's just their hand, but I don't like doing it. I don't like shaking people's hands. I don't like touching their hands. Rob and I barely hold hands like in public, mostly because our height is like, our bodies don't align that way. But it's just like, it's such like a weirdly intimate gesture to me that like having to like hold somebody's hand in place and paint their nails, I just feel like I want to gag. I don't know why. I had a few people ask me what polish I'm going to wear for my wedding. I haven't decided yet. I'm still mulling it over, but I will share that with you guys once it is decided. Somebody asked what advice I would give for anybody who wants to start a nail polish YouTube channel. They said they're interested but feel so self-conscious and nervous. I know that this is like most people's advice when it comes to YouTube, but it's like, just do it, you know, like, don't go out and buy like super expensive equipment to start out with. I just bought a cheap ring light off of Amazon and I filmed on my phone, and I was still filming that way when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So it's like, you don't need the best equipment. All of our phone cameras now are like crazy good. So you don't have to have everything planned out, you know, like how you want your channel to look. Really, the most important thing, in my opinion, is that you have content ideas and you have some semblance of consistency, because the algorithm tends to favor that more consistent posting. And for me, I just kind of, I would look to others for ideas to see like, what are other people in this niche posting? And like, do I think I could improve on that? Could I do something different with that? Or is this like a staple video in this niche? I do stuff like that, you know, like favorites videos and things like that. But I've also done my own type of content where I did like deep dives or like explanatory guides for like polish pickup and stuff like that. At first, if you go back and watch some of my older videos, you can see like I'm a little bit hesitant, quieter. Some might even say shy. But as I continue to do this, it just becomes easier every single time. And now it's just so normalized to me that I'm like, all right, it's Thursday, I need to film. All right, it's Friday, I need to edit my videos for next week. Like, it's just become such an integrated part of my schedule that it almost feels weird when I don't do it. Tips on how to get inspired to use the polishes you have versus buying new ones. Do you get overwhelmed by all you have to choose from? So for me, the best thing that kind of changed my mindset from like buying a bunch to using what I have was just doing my D-stash, and just like the process of going through every single polish, looking at it, deciding if I still wanted it. That really helped me a lot. And I absolutely do get overwhelmed with the amount of stuff I have. So that's why I take to kind of making monthly racks now. so that I kind of make a smaller collection to choose from each month. And it's like, if I don't want something off the rack, I can always go to my drawers. It's not like I'm that strict, but kind of condensing it down makes it a little bit easier. You don't get like decision fatigue when, you know, you have like 40 polishes versus like 4,000 polishes, you know? And the last question is, when you do destash the Purgatory polishes, what will you do with the Swatch Sticks for those polishes? I plan to, I've had a few polishes in the past that I've either like given away or run out of or whatever, like 5 or 6, not that many. And I kept all those Swatch Sticks and I put them on a separate ring just for reference purposes. And that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to take all the polishes I don't have off the Swatch Sticks off the wall, and I'll put them on their own kind of, these aren't here anymore type of ring. That way, if I ever need to like still reference that color for some reason, or I have the need to, I can at least look at the swatch stick for that one. So that will be helpful. So that was actually, I think, all the questions, or for the most part. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Q&A. Thank you for 4,000 subscribers. I'm at like 4,100 now, so that's cool. I've been doing this for 4 years. It's kind of crazy that it's been that long, but I'm excited to keep going and keep making content and hopefully get like a live stream schedule. I know I've been saying that for like a year and a half, that I should make a schedule, but once you pigeonhole yourself into a schedule, there's no escaping it. So it's like, I'm hesitant to make like a definitive schedule, you know, but I do want to get back to live streaming. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.